I love it. That's all I have to say. Okay, bye. Hey guys, it's Nick. Today I want to share with you guys my thoughts on the Roland A-Pro series after using it for 8 months. Here's a quick disclaimer, I am not going to be comparing this keyboard with other keyboards. I have used Yamaha's Clavinovas in the past before, back in Canada, but this is my first and only MIDI keyboard, so I am not here to compare this keyboard with other ones. So I paid about 34,000 yen, which comes down to about 306 US dollars. You can also get the A-500Pro, which is the 49 key, and also the A-300Pro, which is the 32 key. So the keys are not weighted, but they are velocity sensitive and they do support aftertouch. So if that's your thing, this one supports it. I'm no expert, but they feel like quality to me. They do not feel cheap and they feel very good to play. There's one thing that I've realized about these, and it's that the keys are a little bit narrower compared to a full-sized keyboard. I'm used to the full-sized 88 key keyboards, so when I first started using this one, it took me a few days for me to get used to it. It should not be a problem, but if you're very picky with your keys and you've always been playing with a full-size keyboard, it may be disturbing to you at first. But for the majority of you, this should not be a concern, unless if you have hands the size of baseball gloves, which I'm not gonna judge. If you have those, I don't recommend them. Alright, so the knobs, they feel very good. They have a slight resistance when you turn them, and the knobs are very responsive, so you get very good control of your DAWs with your knob turning. However, do keep in mind that they're not endless encoders, so they don't turn 360 degrees. They only turn from this point to this point. So keep that in mind. If you want endless encoders, these don't have them. And I also would like to point out that they are not completely heavy duty. They do have a slight wiggle to them. Unless if you're really going in on them, I really doubt they're ever gonna break. They feel like quality to me. The faders, they're also very responsive, and they're also great for controlling volume automation or whatever you map them to. For the price, they feel great, they feel like quality, they don't feel cheap at all. However, they do have a slight wiggle. I would like to have seen some kind of cover to keep the dust out, like they do on the Akai MPDs. Overall, they're not the heaviest duty, but they do not feel cheap by any means, and they work flawlessly. They should not take away from your workflow or your experience using them. They're great. The pads, in my opinion, feel a little bit too mushy, and I don't like the way they feel. There are only 8 pads, so if you want to do some serious finger drumming, you might be left wanting at least 16 pads as opposed to 18. But if that's not a concern, they work, and they're enough to get by. Personally, I got the MPD 226 so that I have better pads to use. Sometimes I get the double triggers, so even when I press it once, it kind of inputs 2 very short ones. That gets pretty annoying. You can fix it in the edits, but I wouldn't say these work flawlessly. This would be the weakest link in the chain for the A-Pro series. So I was actually playing around with the pads again here, and after using it for the first time in many months, I actually don't have any problems with it right now. Sometimes the notes don't input the velocity correctly. So these are all looking pretty good, except for this one guy, for some reason decided to play a lot quieter. Everything seems to be inputted pretty good, except for this one part right here. This one part right here, you can see there was that double trigger, and the second trigger, the velocity is a lot quieter, so this was a problem I was having at first, but now after using it for the first time in many months, I actually don't dislike the pads at all. They actually feel very good to play drums on. Now the pitch bend slash mod wheel is slightly controversial for Roland for some people. A conventional keyboard will use wheels that go up and down. However, the Roland keyboards, they actually have a joystick where you tilt it left and right for the pitch bend and you tilt it forward for the modulation. There's a lot of people who's used to the conventional mod wheel and pitch bend wheel, and they hate the Roland joystick. But for me, personally, it feels very natural and I love it. To be honest, I've used the wheels in the past. I prefer the joysticks. So definitely you're gonna have to give it a try. It may take some time for you to get used to if you're used to other ones, but I think it's great. It feels amazing. It's very responsive. 10 out of 10. I would give it 10 joysticks out of 9 tilts. I don't know. Now the transport controls are a little bit interesting because I think these keyboards were actually made for Sonar, and before they actually came with a free version of Sonar. However, they recently changed it and now it comes with Ableton Live. The problem here is that a lot of the cool features are only compatible with Sonar. So on the transport controls, the rewind, the fast forward, the pause, and the V-Link button, they don't really work. They're completely useless for Ableton. The silver lining for that, however, is those are extra transport controls that you can map anything to. So what I would recommend and what I like to do, you can map them to metronome on and off and also tap tempo. So you don't have to click and you can actually use those transport controls for tap tempo or toggling the metronome on and off. I think that's a great way of doing it. Take a negative out of something and turn it into a positive. I think it's great. So in conclusion, if you're looking for an affordable keyboard that does not feel cheap, it feels quality and it should last you a very long time, this is the one. Just keep in mind that it's not perfect, and if you do spend more money, I'm sure you can get something of a much higher quality, but for the price, I think it's well worth it. It's great bang for your buck. Depends how much you can find it for in your local stores. I know Amazon has it. I can leave some links in the description if you'd like. Let me know if you ever considered buying these keyboards because I don't remember seeing many reviews on these. I don't know how popular Roland keyboards are back in the States or Canada. Roland makes great keyboards. They made, you know, the most classic synthesizers. They're great. Alright, so trust me on this one. I give it 10 out of 10. No, I'm not gonna make that joke again. I'm not gonna make it. It's great, I recommend it. Let me know if this helped you out by leaving a big thumbs up down below. If you like this kind of stuff, definitely subscribe because I'm gonna be making more videos. And I hope you guys have a great day, or night, or morning, or whatever you're having. Take care, bye.